This is a direct message to Andrea Berta and the executive room. You do whatever is humanly necessary to get Vinicius Jr. signed.
Right, let's get straight to it then. The big player Arsenal have been quietly courting behind closed doors since the start of this transfer window has finally been confirmed, and it's sent absolute shockwaves right across the footballing world. It is actually Vinicius, Real Madrid's star winger. Mate, did this news leave you completely gobsmacked like it did the rest of us? Because I'm still struggling to process it, to be honest.
This is a direct message to Andrea Berta and the executive room. You do whatever is humanly necessary to get Vinicius Jr. signed. If you pull off a transfer of this magnitude, your legacy is secured for eternity as the sporting director who restored Arsenal to the absolute highest echelons. To answer your question, truthfully, I've been torn. But as the old adage goes, there is rarely smoke without fire. The moment the word leaked that we were discreetly laying the groundwork for an Ozil-caliber marquee signing out of Spain, coupled with Vinicius's contract standoff at Real Madrid, you couldn't help but connect the dots. Now, when those bizarre swap rumors involving Julian Alvarez and Victor Gyökeres surfaced, it threw everyone off the scent. Expectations shifted completely away, from Vinicius to a bewildering swap deal involving last season's top scorer. But Arsenal is an awakened giant. When a player of that astronomical profile becomes even remotely attainable, a club of our stature is duty-bound to explore the possibility.
Spot on. But let's talk brass tacks about the man himself. How do you actually see this deal being feasible? We're talking about a standoff over a rumoured £15 million, loyalty bonus and weekly wage demands north of £500,000. Arsenal have been notoriously cautious with their wage structure for years, only recently capping Saka at around £300,000 a week. Do you genuinely reckon Arsenal are ready to take that kind of massive financial punt?
I've seen a mountain of commentary expressing hand-wringing concern over Vinicius' wages, doubting whether Arsenal can actually execute this operation. What people fail to grasp is why a transaction like this is kept firmly out of the spotlight. These elite operations begin with quiet exploration. The moment a window of opportunity presents itself, you sit down internally to analyze the financial position, the risk profile, and commercial expectations. If you pay attention to David Ornstein's reporting, he made it abundantly clear. The entire Arsenal hierarchy, from top to bottom, is fully aligned on the signing of Vinicius and has greenlit formal advances. You must realize they have calculated every single financial permutation. If the board didn't believe the numbers stacked up, this news would never have seen the light of day. Furthermore, if we intend to conquer Europe, this is precisely the caliber of player we must add to the roster. Vinicius is a plug-and-play elite asset. He quadruples your return on investment in both commercial and sporting terms. Record-breaking shirt sales, an immediate surge in global squad valuation, and unparalleled leverage when negotiating with global corporate brands. He instantaneously elevates Arsenal into a dominant European juggernaut. Vinicius in this side virtually guarantees that Arsenal contend for and win multiple Champions League trophies over the coming decade. This is the exact type of structure-shattering deal you make, because no matter how far it stretches your financial parameters initially, it represents an overwhelming net win in the long run.
You've detailed that brilliantly, mate. You don't give a move like that the green light unless the numbers have been thoroughly stress tested. But what about the dressing room side of things? We all know about Vinny's fiery antics on the pitch, the off-field noise, and the massive ego that comes with being a global superstar. Given his behavioural baggage, do you reckon the gaffer can actually tame his personality, considering Mikel is such a disciplined manager who refuses to compromise on his non-negotiables?
Let us first establish Mikel Arteta's standing in modern football. You only have to listen to what the absolute movers and shakers across the global game are saying. Arteta is universally regarded as the gold standard of modern coaching, firmly established in the top 3 managers on the planet, with only Pep Guardiola and Luis Enrique operating in that same elite echelon at club level. For a manager on that upward trajectory, the natural, inevitable next step in his evolution is managing elite, world-class attackers, controlling massive personalities, navigating high-level egos, and integrating them seamlessly into a structured tactical framework. To suggest Arteta cannot manage a player of Vinicius' stature is completely wide of the mark. Elite management is fundamentally about getting world-class individuals to buy into your collective non-negotiables while simultaneously affording them the tactical platform to express their genius and win you football matches. It is a threshold that every legendary manager in history must cross. Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, Carlo Ancelotti, Jose Mourinho, and Pep Guardiola all had to manage, redirect, and command the biggest personalities in the history of the sport, earning their absolute respect in the process. It is now Arteta's turn to step into that arena. Frankly, this Arsenal squad is crying out for a genuine maverick, a player who instills psychological dread in opposition backlines before a ball is even kicked, an individual capable of producing a moment of unadulterated brilliance to unlock a match when the team is structurally boxed into a corner. That individual variance was the definitive margin between Arsenal and European silverware last season. If we are speaking factual truth, Vinicius is precisely what Arteta needs at this juncture to stake his claim as one of the managerial greats. Make no mistake, this transfer is Arteta's vision. He knows he needs that exact profile, and he has built more than enough managerial authority for Vinicius to respect his non-negotiables.
Spot on the way you've broken that down. Without mincing a single word, it raises the level of optimism to an unprecedented high, mate. But what about the inevitable clash of egos inside that dressing room? How do you reckon someone like Saka takes an acquisition like this? He's been our talisman, the franchise player, from day one. Suddenly, a megastar of Vinicius caliber walks through the door, someone we know is going to command the global spotlight. And then there's the elephant in the room. Vinny's favourite squad number is the number 7, which Bukayo currently wears. Don't you think that risks creating a bit of friction or a toxic vibe in the camp?
First and foremost, I simply do not see Bukayo Saka as a player who would ever elevate personal glory above collective ambition. He is a mature, self-sacrificing leader who puts the team's overarching objectives first every single time. As for the shirt number, I genuinely believe that is a complete non-issue. Our most sacred and iconic shirt at Arsenal is, without question, the number 14. It is currently worn by Victor Gyökeres, but with Gabriel Jesus departing, Gyökeres logically transitions to his preferred number 9. That leaves the legendary 14 vacant for Vinicius Jr. to carry forward the legacy of King Titi. In North London, the 14 carries far greater global prestige than the 7. Vinny wearing the 14 is a match made in footballing heaven, conundrum resolved. Now, addressing Vinicius' behavioural profile and motivations. Vinicius needs Arsenal every bit as much as Arsenal needs him. One of his primary career ambitions is to win the Ballon d'Or. Frankly, achieving that in the current Real Madrid setup is virtually impossible, with Kylian Mbappe operating as the ultimate figurehead. To win the Ballon d'Or, 2 conditions are non-negotiable. Firstly, you must be the undisputed focal point of your team. Secondly, you must win the absolute highest honours alongside that team. At Real Madrid, the entire ecosystem caters to Mbappe. For an ambitious megastar like Vinicius, existing perpetually under another player's spotlight renders the Ballon d'Or nearly unattainable. A move to a European titan and the reigning Premier League champions represents the most viable path for him right now. Vinny understands that to reach the pinnacle, sacrifices must be made. He will not disrupt the harmony of the dressing room because structural cohesion and mutual respect are absolute prerequisites for his own personal success. The team must play with him and he must play for the team. It is a symbiotic relationship. Arsenal functions as a collective unit, and that environment is precisely what will allow Vinicius to realize his individual goals.
That is brilliantly explained, mate. Now, how do you actually see this deal being wrapped up without dragging on until deadline day? Reports emerging out of Spain suggest Jose Mourinho is prepared to step in and block Vinicius' departure to Arsenal. Do you think Mourinho's intervention could genuinely derail Arsenal's dream of signing him?
We must be entirely clear on one fundamental truth. Vinicius holds all the leverage here. Not Real Madrid. Vinny is entering the final year of his contract, holding out for a £15 million loyalty bonus and weekly wages of £500,000 extension. Real Madrid refused to be held to ransom, knowing that conceding sets a dangerous precedent for figures like Mbappe or Jude Bellingham. Historically, Florentino Perez does not bend to player ultimatums. We saw how swiftly Cristiano Ronaldo was shipped to Juventus when a similar standoff arose. Rather than risking a £150 million asset walking away on a free transfer next summer, Madrid will actively choose to cash in now. Look at Madrid's operational moves. They are already aggressively finalizing a deal for Yan Diomande from RB Leipzig, with personal terms already agreed. That is clear preparation for Vinicius's departure. In Madrid's business model, a manager's personal preference carries zero weight when a multi-million-pound asset is at risk of depreciating to zero. Therefore, the narrative around Mourinho blocking the move holds no real structural weight. Furthermore, as first broken 6 days ago by the David Dine insider account, background discussions have been advanced for months. During Brazil's international stay at London Colney and the Emirates back in November, conversations went far beyond match preparation for their friendly against Senegal. Behind closed doors, senior Arsenal figures, including Josh Kroenke, met directly with Vinicius's representatives to outline the club's long-term commercial and sporting vision. Mikel Arteta met with the player personally, presenting his tactical blueprint, our drive to win the Premier League title, and our ambition to dominate the Champions League. Vinicius was given a first-hand experience of the club's elite infrastructure, culture, and squad environment. Arsenal's position has been established for months. They are prepared to strike the moment the window opens. And based on recent developments, that opportunity is looking more realistic by the day.
That is proper refreshing to hear. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see how it unfolds over the coming weeks. Now, let's pivot slightly to on-pitch matters. Arsenal's 3-0 win against MK Dons. In our opening behind-closed-doors pre-season match, word from those inside the ground is that new signing Christos Zolis gave a brilliant account of himself, playing 45 minutes and grabbing an assist. Mate, what are your realistic expectations for Zolis this season?
Quite simply, the expectation is for him to step in and execute the exact tactical role he was recruited for. He needs to build upon what Leandro Trossard provided: goals, assists, and crucial clutch moments off the bench and in rotation. Securing a prolific goalscorer and creator like Zolis to fortify our left flank profile is immensely refreshing. If we look back candidly, Gabriel Martinelli's dip from peak form left our attacking structure overly dependent on the right flank, skewing our possession dynamics and making us predictable. Having elite, consistent output on the left is what delivers domestic and European silverware. Now, imagine pairing a primary left winger of Vinicius Jr.'s world-class profile with high-caliber, proven depth in Christos Zolis. That completely restores tactical balance to Arteta's setup. Arsenal supporters have every reason to dream big and be genuinely excited, and we must hope this transfer window culminates in the statement signings this football club deserves.